this documentary, we will unravel what it means to be an Angelinian. But most important of all, we'll see how the media portrays an inaccurate description of a city reemerging itself as a leading urban complex in the world. Are immigrant populations dispersing young workforce? What is the climate of Los Angeles? Who are the people that make up the city of Los Angeles? Media pundits will have you believe the city is in a race war against itself, torn apart by prejudice, bias, racism, and narcissism. But what really lies within the heart of Los Angeles? As of right now, the current population of Los Angeles County is close to 10 million, with the city itself close to 4. With such a high number of people living throughout the region, it is interesting to look at who are the contributors to such a large area. Historically, the United States has been a land of opportunity for people all around the world. The city of Los Angeles is no different. Throughout time, Los Angeles has risen to become one of the world's most diverse and largest cities with the help of immigration. The economy of Los Angeles brings in an average of $736 billion a year. Immigration plays a major role behind the massive economy. Unemployment rate in Los Angeles is currently at 9%, but the number for immigrants and the youth tend to be much higher. Currently, more jobs are requiring an individual to have some sort of college education in order to start at an entry-level position.
Well, I definitely think the presence of such a diverse group of immigrants within Los Angeles is a really good thing, politically, economically, socially.
My God, I came here when I was young. I came here about 30 years old.
30 years old?
So I'm almost here before you were born.
Yo llegué aquí del Mojado en 1983.
1 year.
7 años.
Yo estoy aquí trabajando desde el 80.
I was sent here by my uncle to take care of a house, and I like it. And I just get married here and start living here. It's a good place.
Economic and socially, not political. And help my family. Pues nos mudamos para acá por la situación de la guerra civil allá. Por eso nos hizo venir a este país.
Por las dos cosas, por la política que existe en el país y por, pues el país México es un país muy corrupto, entonces no se gana bien en los trabajos, entonces tiene uno que buscar pues para uno poder seguir viviendo, para la familia y para uno, entonces me decidí venir a los Estados Unidos.
My name is Tracy La Chica Buenavista, and I'm a professor in Asian American Studies at California State University, Northridge. So I think one thing that we have to acknowledge is that immigrant labor has been used by businesses and corporations very strategically to, continue their revenue building. And I think that's something that's not often acknowledged. The way that our economy is designed is that, we not only facilitate or force migration of people from other countries to the U.S., but we actively recruit immigrants to work within the American economy. One of the things that's most misunderstood about immigration is that people make individual decisions to move to the United States to seek better opportunities. And I'm not saying that's not a true narrative, But what I want to argue is that that narrative is much more complex. We have to really consider what are the social, political, economic factors that actually push people to come to the United States to seek opportunities. What's the role of labor recruiters? What is the role of immigrant visa policies that really target specific types of immigrants to come into the country on certain worker visas? This is something that is rarely ever discussed in public discourse on immigration. So we have a really narrow understanding that immigrants intend to come to the country to take jobs away from people who are born in the U.S., when really it's much more complex. Immigrants wouldn't come to the U.S. unless there were policies already in place that facilitated their movement here.
Historically, finding jobs throughout Los Angeles has been fairly easy for immigrants until the United States and other major countries have adapted the concept of globalization. This has caused more competition for individuals to compete for jobs.
La dificultad para encontrar trabajo fue el idioma, el no dominar el idioma y pues lo natural, los papeles, ¿verdad? Okay. Entonces, ese es un obstáculo grande.
My experience is very good. I've been working with a person for house sittings, taking care. Pues ahorita tenemos la venta de gorros, bufandas, lentes y también productos Avon.
In my case, not so much, because I have been with the company for almost 8 years. And now I didn't do any full-time, but part-time. They accepted me because of my experience and being with them for a while. Okay. So I'm like a family to them, and I trust them, they trust me.
The experience was fun. Made a lot of friends. I was able to deliver burgers neatly, accurately, and to perfection, and achieving customer satisfaction in the process. And I really like that job.
I haven't had a lot of luck finding a job, but I haven't really been trying very hard lately. But I think depending on who you are, it's easier to find a job. It's easier to start a business because oftentimes you know people that have access to capital.
Specifically focusing on the youth, we can see how employment has affected immigrants throughout Los Angeles. The total number of foreign-born citizens living in the United States is around 40 million people, which is close to 13% of the total population. However, in Los Angeles, the number of foreign-born citizens is close to 3.5 million, which is close to 35% of the total population.
Actually, because I'm from Iran, there's a lot of like Persian people in here, so I'm not that. It's like it's just a little city full of Persian. But in here, like in neighborhood, it's not. But the other neighborhood, like in Westwood and Beverly Hills, is full of Persian. When I go there, it's like my city. Actually, they call it Tehran Jealous.
Me, I like cold weather. I'm adaptable and I'm flexible to where I go. I blend in right away. Okay. That's the way it is. I have no hard time blending in with my environment, new country, and.
Bueno, pues como uno está acostumbrado a trabajar siempre en la área del mercado, uno cuando viene a este país viene a trabajar ignorando las leyes de aquí.
Puedo decir que ya estoy bien adaptado a Los Ángeles. Ya no tengo ningún, o sea, nada que no me pueda adaptar ya.
So far, as of right now, yeah, but I'm getting more luck with my friends. They're like managers at Target, so they're probably gonna try to hook me up right there.
It wasn't easy. I wrote a cover letter. I went to the interview dressed up, and I got rejected the first time I applied for McDonald's.
Of my job, because I'm a babysitter, like they need somebody so they can trust, they have like experience.
The cultural diversity of Los Angeles is a gift and a curse for the city.
Todos no tengo, con todas las razas no tengo ningún problema.
I do good along with them. Pues para mí todas las razas son buenos porque nunca he tenido problema con nadie.
Good, actually I have a lot of friends, Indians, Mexicans. Actually I live with my Mexican friend.
For me it's not a problem because I feel like everybody has the opportunity to make it, and you know, whether it's a lot of them or not, or a lot of immigrants or not, it doesn't really matter because we all have the ability to achieve. So I don't think it really hinders what you want to do if you set your mind to achieve. So for me, it doesn't bother me. I meet new friends, new connections when you meet new people that are diverse, not just your own ethnic group. So for me, it's not a problem.
So you get along well with other immigrants?
Right, because hey, we're all immigrants, shoot. I mean,
I have to be honest with you, compared to Chicago, I think it's a lot more hospitable. You mentioned ethnicity and everything. I don't think it matters as much here. I've noticed people intermingle a lot more here. Compared to Chicago, it might not be ideal, but I've not had any problems in terms of the way people act towards me or vice versa. Like I think the neighborhoods are a lot more segregated in Chicago, to be quite honest with you.
So
South Side versus West, like West Side in Chicago would be mostly Hispanic. South Side would be mostly black between a certain mile radius and Beverly on the outside of the South Side. So here, I think block to block, especially this area here, from what I'm noticing, in the short time I've been here, is a lot more integrated than Chicago would be.
For this, it isn't as important. As you can see, Beacon Stars, it's like a training job pretty much. You can do this to work your way up, so you can say you've had experience. As for me, I can say I had experience for management since I'm a manager right here.
You have not much experience and you have no degrees. In short, the bus right now for younger generation, if you're not ready, will leave you behind.
Not bad, actually. I'm going to English school. It's my last term. It's good because we used to have English class in my country, and I've been here just for 1.5 years. Okay. My English is not that bad.
Okay, that's perfect.
People can't be like me because they don't put the effort in that I put in, or they can't be like me because they don't have this support system or the advice or the encouragement that probably I have. You know, a lot of people don't have the same type of support system. You know, our approach is being to teach both English and Spanish as a way of trying to achieve educational goals.
Funding for schools in dense urban population is at a low. This is prevalent in lower income cities where dropout rates for Hispanics are almost half the number of them coming into high school. The question becomes more heated, however, when our student population is mixed with undocumented immigrants. How will this impact the economy if these undocumented students are legalized?
The potential for people to legalize their status, will that impact U.S.-born workers and their opportunities for work? It will impact them, but I would argue in a more positive way, because what would happen is that we would have people who all of a sudden are legally entitled to better work conditions and better employment wages. And when that happens, and when corporations and business have to address poor working conditions and actually improve them, right, you're actually improving the work environment for everybody, you know, from immigrant to those who are U.S. born. So, you know, so I would say comprehensive immigration reform in an economic context is really going to assist everybody, because then we're going to have discussions in regards to healthcare, right, and access to healthcare for everybody, right? And then we're having we're going to have discussions regarding work conditions, for everybody. So I think comprehensive immigration reform is the way to go, and what we will see is that when we improve the lives of some people, we inherently must improve the lives of all people.
People who come from other countries, I have a new respect because they come with the intent to make it. And a lot of us who've been in America for a while, we've gotten lazy. We just like, hey, we just chill and collect the government's funds. We're not even willing to get out there and make it happen. So,
like I said, the bus will leave me behind. It will be hard. That's why the younger generation, I say, get education as much as you can.
I think if anything, it's going to make our economy more robust when we have more people who are employable, legally employable, right? I think it's going to have an immediate positive impact, and I think in the long term it's going to have a long-term impact in regards to, now we're going to have people who are going to be able to make more livable wages and then more able to contribute in terms of tax revenues and home ownership and, you know, all the things that generate revenue for our economy. So I think, you know, comprehensive immigration reform will actually have both short-term and long-term benefits for everybody.
Bueno, pues mi plan es trabajar y también seguir trabajando aquí hasta que Dios lo permita.
Planes para el futuro es poder legalizar mis derechos en Estados Unidos.
Plans for my future is to make a future for my kids. Is to own my own home, get out there and get in the grind with everybody else. You know, be up there with everybody else who got white collars, because it's endless. You know, opportunities are endless if you're willing to reach for them.
Do you want to continue your education and find
Oh yeah, I'm about to get a PhD. Yes, definitely. I'm gonna all the way.
Couple things I want to do, like projects I want to work on with my friends, like T-shirts we want to do, like a couple things.
Business?
Yeah.
To be a part of a organization, a basketball organization, where I can realize a lifelong dream that I've had since childhood of being connected with sports.
Yo voy a empezar a irme a Europa, a New York, Mexico, traveling around and still doing parties.
Okay.
See, I got skates. I perform on skates. That's why I can be a good clown for a lot of years, because this is my job and my gym.
Education will play a significant role in the lives of these people. Foreign or not, the choices they make affects the economy as a whole. From entrepreneurs to immigrant vendors, they make up the little of what is known as Los Angeles.